Dear student, very good morning to one and all present here. Welcome to the video course of 18 EA 405 Linear Integrated Circuits. I am Dr. L. Rajasekhar, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering, Bannari Amman Institute of Technology, Satyamangalam. The knowledge that required to understand the today topics are basics of discrete components and basics of electronic circuits. And now I'm going to introduce today's topics with the help of some real-time problems. We have a battery of 2 volt and we have a bulb which is operated at 6 volt DC. Now I'm going to connect them. Let's see what happens. Is the light is on? No, it is not because of insufficient battery voltage. In such a case, I have introduced a circuit in between here. Now the light is on. How does it happen? The electronic circuit provides sufficient voltage to the bulb, so it is turned on. This is possible with the help of the electronic circuit. Let's move on to the another example. We have an antenna and we have a television. The distance between antenna and television is about 1 kilometer. So the signal at this point is very low. It is a weak signal. So the same signal the cable carries to the television end, which causes streaming of unclear picture. In such a case, I have introduced a circuit in between here. Now the television is streaming with clear picture. How does it happen? The electronic circuit increase the strength of an input signal. The electronic circuit increase the strength of an weak signal. So we got clear video. This is possible with the help of the electronic circuit. Let's move on to the another example. We have a LDR which convert light intensity variation into small amount of electrical signal, and we have a temperature sensors which convert the temperature variation into small amount of electrical signal, and we have a microphone which convert the sound variation into small amount of electrical signal. So the electrical signals are analog in nature, which is about few millivolts only. Now I am going to use Arduino microcontroller to read and display all the sensors values in digital. Let's see the values of all the sensors. It's all 0. Why? Because the microcontroller unable to read the small amount of electrical signal. So all the sensors output will be 0. So in such a case, I have introduced a circuit. Now the microcontroller can able to read all the sensors value effectively with respect to their physical quantity. So this is possible with the help of the electronic circuit. So all the example clearly shows we can able to turn on the bulb even if you are having insufficient voltage. We can able to watch the clear video even if you are having weak signal. We can able to read all the sensors output even if you are having very small amount of electrical signal. So all these are possible with help of that electronic circuit. So you are curious to know about the circuit, right? Can you guess what kind of the circuit is this? Can you guess? Yes, you are right. It is an amplifier. So amplifier is an integrated circuit which is used in computer, display devices and all the measurement systems. So it is better to study to understand the concept, equivalent circuit and characteristics of the operational amplifier. Hence we can design our own amplifier in order to provide the solution to the real-time problem. Next we jump into the topic. So we are going to study the internal circuit of an operational amplifier and characteristics of an operational amplifier. So So end of this session, students can able to draw the equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier, and he can able to compare the ideal and practical characteristics of an operational amplifier. So here we will discuss the three internal block of an operational amplifier. Then we will discuss the operation of differential amplifier and equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier. Finally, we compare the ideal and practical characteristics of an operational amplifier. First, we will discuss the three internal block of an amplifier. So before going to see the three internal block of an amplifier, we will discuss the basic information about operational amplifier. So an amplifier is an integrated circuit. Let us break down the term operational amplifier. So let's start with amplifier. So what is an amplifier? We all know an amplifier takes an input signal as input and produces an output signal. So the output signal is amplified version of an input signal. So for example, we have a sinusoidal signal as input. So when the signal is passed through an amplifier, it can produce an amplified version of a same input signal. So this is an amplifier. And now coming to the word operational. So operational, it is basically means we can perform various mathematical operations. For example, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Here few of examples are captured here for your reference. Here the operational amplifier acts as an integrator. It takes square wave as input and produce triangular wave as in output. Like the differentiator take triangular wave as input and produce square wave as output. And summing amplifier takes two different amplitude signal and produce the sum of these two signal as a output. So this is a mathematical operation. These are the mathematical operation done by the operational amplifier. And this operational amplifier is also known as op-amp. So as you can see, this OP comes from the operational word and the amp comes from the amplifier word. And throughout the entire course, we will be using this term to refer the operational amplifier. Next, we will discuss the representation of operational amplifier. An op-amp is usually represented as a triangle with at least 5 pins. Among them, 2 are input terminals. One is non-inverting input terminal, which is denoted by plus sign. And another one is inverting input terminal, which is denoted by negative sign. And two biasing terminals are there. One is V plus and another one is V minus. And we have a one output terminal. So this is a basic representation of operational amplifier. And so the commercial ICs that we use in our lab is IC741. It has 8 pin whose schematics look something like this. So it has a 8 pin. The pin 1 and pin 5 used for offset, and the second pin is our inverting input, which is denoted by the negative sign. The third pin is our non-inverting input, which is denoted by plus sign. The fourth and seventh pin are our bias voltage. The 8th pin is not connected and 6th pin is for our output. So this is a schematic of IC741. Next we will discuss the voltage transfer curve of an operational amplifier. We know that V0 equal to A into Vd. So here V0 output voltage is proportional to the difference of the input signal voltage. When Vd is increases, V0 also increases. So we have So we have a linear curve here. We have a linear curve here. But after certain limit, the output voltage will saturate, and this voltage is referred as plus Vsat, plus Vsat. So the plus Vsat always less than the reference, positive reference voltage, and the minus Vsat always greater than the negative source of the op-amp. So this will be the maximum output that our op-amp can achieve. And internally, the operational amplifier has approximately 27 transistors out there. Those transistors are NPN and PNP transistors. That's why it requires two different type of biasing voltage, V plus and V minus. One is plus VCC and another one is minus VCC, because NPN transistors require biasing voltage of plus VCC and PNP transistors require biasing voltage of minus VCC for its operations. So this can be possible with dual power supply. As shown in figure, we can provide the plus VCC and minus VCC to the operational amplifier. A dual power supply provides the positive and negative voltage required for an op-amp. Here the positive voltage V plus and V minus terminals are connected to the two serially connected batteries or dual regulated power supply as shown in the figure. So the power supply voltage range vary from plus or minus 5 volt DC to plus or minus 22 volt DC. So this is a standard integrated circuit used in real-time application purpose. So this is a basic representation of operational amplifier. Now we are going to discuss the internal block of an operational amplifier. So the first internal block of an operational amplifier is differential amplifier. So the differential amplifier amplify the difference between two input signal. One is inverting input, another one is non-inverting input. It simply amplify the difference between these two input signal. So while amplifying, it offer high input impedance to avoid the loading effect. So the output of the amplifier, differential amplifier, connect with the next stage of the amplifier. So the next stage of amplifier is voltage amplifier. So the voltage amplifier is the second stage of operational amplifier. This stage may be made from several transistors to provide high gain. So the output voltage from the differential amplifier added more gain with this stage. Provide high gain with this stage. So the output of the voltage amplifier given to the next stage of operational amplifier, it is a output amplifier. So the output amplifier offer very low output impedance. That means suppose if we connect sensors output to an external circuit, the output voltage of an op-amp is not affected when amount of current drawn by an external device. So only in the op-amp output impedance is very low. So we have three stages of internal block. One is a differential amplifier, another one is voltage amplifier, and finally output amplifier. All these internal blocks are help the operational amplifier to increase the strength of an input signal. Next we are going to discuss about the differential amplifier and equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier. So here an operational amplifier, commonly known as op-amp, is a two-input single-output differential voltage amplifier which is characterized by high gain, high input impedance and low output impedance. Now we will discuss the operation of single-ended input and double-ended output differential amplifier here. So here the signal is applied to one input of a differential amplifier and the other input is grounded. In this case, it is called single-ended input arrangement. So let's see the basic circuit of a differential amplifier and the circuit shown in the figure below. So the differential amplifier is a two input terminal device using at least two transistors. There are two output terminals marked V1. There are two terminals marked as V01 and Vout2. The transistors Q1 and Q2 are matched so that their characteristics are also same. And the collector resistors RC1 and RC2 are also equal. The equality of matched circuit components makes the differential amplifier circuit arrangement completely symmetrical. So, if you any differential amplifier, its characteristics, so it must have a symmetrical characteristics with respect to all the components. So we are going to, so before going to discuss the differential amplifier, kindly observe the animation given here. So here the transistor switching is happen when the base voltage is 10 volt, the output voltage is 0. When the base voltage is 0, the output voltage is 10 volt. So the biased transistor will provide inverted output, right? Now we will discuss the case 1. As I said earlier, we are going to input the signal. So this is a basic diagram. So here transistor Q1 is, we are going to apply the input signal. Okay, so we are going to ground the transistor Q2. So this is a single-ended configurations. Single-ended configuration means any one transistor should be given input signal, other transistor should be grounded. So this is the single-ended configurations. So the connections are established as per the case 1. Okay, here input 1 is supplied with the signal and input 2 is grounded as shown in the figure. So as per our animation, here the input is given to Q1. So if the input is given to Q1, whenever the base whenever the base is triggered with the positive voltage, the output will be low. Whenever the gate is biased with the negative voltage, the bias will be high. So the Q1 transistor will provide the inverted output, will provide the amplified input signal. So we are passing the low frequency signal as an input. So we will get the output as inverted version of the input signal, amplified inverted version of the input signal. Here the signal is shifted. Okay, 180-degree phase shift is done here. So since the transistor is biased, the input signal is amplified, but inverted output will be amplified. But in other end, Q2 transistor, we will get the amplified version of the same input signal without any shift. Okay, this is the case 1. Next we will discuss the case 2. In case 2, what we are going to do, we are going to supply the input to Q2 transistor and ground. We are going to ground the Q1 transistor base. So as per the case 2, we have established our circuit here. So V in 1 is grounded and V in 2 will be supplied with the input signal. Now I am supplying the input signal to the Q2 transistor base. Now here the biased transistor is Q2. Whenever it's get positive, whenever the base terminal get positive voltage, the output will be 0. Whenever the gate terminal gets negative, the output will be high. So the Q2 transistor output will be amplified version of an inverted input signal. Okay, in Q1 we will get the amplified version of the input signal without any phase. So this is the basic operation of differential amplifier using transistor. So therefore, inverted amplifier signal is appears at the output 2, and non-inverted amplifier signal is appears at output 1. So next we are going to discuss about the equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier. As you can see, we have two inputs. This is a basic architecture, right? This is the basic equivalent circuit of the operational amplifier. As you can see, we have two inputs, V1 and V2. V2 is our inverting input, okay, which is denoted by negative sign. So V2 is our inverting input and V1 is our non-inverting input. And the difference between these two input is VD. Okay, so the VD is nothing but difference between the two input signal V1 and V2. Here R0 is the input impedance. So the input impedance R0 will be at the input side of an operational amplifier. Okay. Next R0 is the output impedance. And most important things to note about the op-amp is it is voltage controlled voltage source. Okay, which means so voltage controlled voltage source means a voltage source across the input terminal. Here input also we are giving volts. Okay, V1 and V2 is a volts. A voltage across the input terminal control the dependent voltage source at the output. Here input also we are giving volt, output also we are so the voltage across a load resistance also output. So which means voltage controlled voltage source. Okay, so as you can see, this voltage source whose value is given by A into VD, where A is a gain of an amplifier and V0 is the output voltage. So the output voltage is always obtained across the load resistance RL. So this is the basic equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier. It has two input terminal V1, V2, and VD is a difference of input signal voltage, input impedance, output impedance, and A into VD is nothing but voltage source. Okay, the output voltage source is A into VD. So here V1 is a non-inverting input, V2 is inverting input, VD is nothing but V1 minus V2. Ri is input impedance, R0 is output impedance, A is a gain of the operational amplifier. Finally, V0 is output impedance. We obtain the V0 across the load resistance. Finally, we are going to compare the ideal and practical characteristics of an operational amplifier. So this is the basic equivalent circuit of an operational amplifier. But from the equivalent circuit, we are going to construct the equivalent circuit for an ideal operational amplifier. Okay, we are going to construct the ideal equivalent circuit for ideal operational amplifier. Ideal, the term mean for it is we can study those amplifier concepts characteristics only for theoretical purpose. So it will not applicable in real time. That's why we referred the term is ideal. Okay. Let's see the first characteristics of an operational amplifier, ideal operational amplifier. So Ri, input impedance, it's always infinity. Okay, so the first characteristics of an ideal op-amp is the value of the input impedance Ri is infinity. We well known when the value of the resistor is very high, it is behave as an open circuit. Okay, here Ri is a input resistance. If it is infinite means, so the terminal is open circuit. As like this, it will be there. So here Ri will behave as a open circuit. Imagine there is no connections between these two input, these two input terminal. Since it is an open circuit, there is no current flow in the circuit. Okay, so I will repeat. If input impedance is infinity, means it is a open circuit and there is no current flow in the input side. This is the first characteristic. So the second characteristics of an ideal op-amp is its output impedance R naught is 0. Okay, output impedance R naught is 0. Now we know when the value of the resistor is low, it will be like short circuit. So here is the output impedance. Okay, R naught is here output impedance. If it is 0 means, okay, if it is 0 means it will be like a short circuit. Okay, it will be like a short circuit. So the resistance will be replaced here. Since it is since its impedance is 0 means, so the R naught will be act as a short circuit. So there is no resistance here. So whatever voltage obtained across this voltage, okay, whatever voltage obtained across this voltage source will be directly appears at the output terminal. Okay, what are the voltages obtained across the voltage source will be directly appears across the output terminal, across the load resistance. Okay, without any loss. So that is across the load resistance Rn. So the value of the output will be V naught equal to AVD directly. So the source voltage, whatever voltage at the source terminal, that will be appears across the load resistance. So this is the second characteristics of an ideal op-amp. Output impedance is 0. Then coming to the third characteristics of an ideal op-amp, open loop gain is infinity. We know the formula AV gain equal to V naught V out by V in, that is V naught by VD. Here V in is nothing but difference between the V1 and V2. Okay, now in order to gain to be infinitive, so the characteristics states that open loop gain is infinity. So in order for gain to be infinity, either for V naught will be infinity or VD should be 0. In that case only the A value will be the A value to be infinity. Okay, but when you observe the voltage transfer characteristics, okay, and what it says after certain voltage, the output voltage, okay, so the V out after certain limit, it will be saturated here. Okay, it will be saturated, so it cannot reach infinity. So we have only two possible conditions: gain to be infinity. Okay, gain to be infinity. First condition is V out should be infinity or V in should be 0. But in the case of voltage transfer curve, there is no it says there is no possibility of V out will be a infinity. Okay, it cannot reach infinity. So there is no option V naught to be infinity, because one point of time it will get saturated here. It is linearly increased. Whenever the VD increase, V naught also increase. At one point of time, the V out gets saturated. So there is no option for V naught get infinity. So what may be the other options? It is VD. So the value of VD should goes to 0 in this case. Okay, when the open loop gain is infinity, input voltage is 0. VD is 0. VD is 0 means V2 is V1 and V2 is same. Okay, so that is the characteristic says. And coming to the last characteristics of an ideal op-amp, bandwidth will be infinity. Okay, which means they can work at any frequency ranging from 0 to infinity. Okay, so these are the characteristics of an ideal operational amplifier. So the ideal operational amplifier equivalent circuit as like we have displayed here. Next we will compare the ideal and practical operational amplifier. So the comparison between ideal and practical op-amp is done here. As you can see from this table, for an ideal op-amp, differential voltage is okay. So the differential voltage is infinity. That's the gain value is infinity. In case of unpractical op-amp, we know we cannot achieve the gain to be infinity. Therefore, the value is from 10 power 5 to 10 power 9. Okay. For an ideal op-amp, input impedance is infinity. And but in case of practical op-amp, it is very high, and the range is from 10 power 6 to 10 power 12 ohm. And the output impedance of an ideal op-amp is 0, but for a practical op-amp, it is nearly 100 to 1000 ohm. Finally, the bandwidth of an ideal op-amp is infinite, but in case of a practical op-amp, the bandwidth is from 1 to 20 megahertz only. So we have done the comparison here. Mind map. So far we have discussed operational amplifier equivalent circuit, characteristics of an ideal op-amp, voltage transfer characteristics of operational amplifier, internal block of operational amplifier, and differential amplifier. All those things we have discussed. In summary, so an op-amp is an integrated circuit which perform the mathematical operations and amplification operations. Differential amplifier amplify the difference between two input signal, and characteristics of an ideal op-amps are listed here. So the open loop gain is infinity, input impedance is 0, input offset voltage also 0, bandwidth will be infinity, output impedance is 0. So with this I would like to end this video. We will meet on next video. Happy learning and thank you.